Okay, so it turns out the mains on the Norton crank were held on with bearing lock, and that shaft is actually undersized somewhat, so yeah, the bearings spin freely on the crank as well as in the crankcases. This side's marginally better, not brilliant, but marginally better. So I thought we'd have a look around because I've got another crank kicking about. I've managed to get a bit of debris or something in the end of there, you can probably see it. So that'll definitely need to come out. So the plan was split all the cranks and see what measures up and see what's good and what isn't. But then the other night, while I was reading through my modern motorcycle maintenance book from 1949, I was just a bit bored. And anyway, came across that page where they're suggesting splitting the crankshaft with nut and bolt setup. Now, it wouldn't work on a more modern crank with the straight pins, like say that one there, if you can see it, sat on the lathe. But of course these are all taper pins, as are the ones in the book, so I thought we'd give it a go. I've dug out some nuts and bolts. They're actually out of a packing crate for a new motorcycle, so they're probably made out of cheese. But I figured we'd give them a go. So I'll cut the things down because they are, I'll show you on this one, it'll be easier, still somewhat too long. And we'll pop them between the crank webs and yeah, see if we can't pop the thing off. Right, I'll do some modifying of this little lot here and we'll give it a go. Okay, onward. Right, yeah, that's 4 little bolts cut down with some nuts on the end. Unfortunately, I've only got blooming flange nuts, which is a pain. Because of course in the book, wherever it is, there we go, it shows a little plate that's been cut out, and that holds the nuts, or the bolts, whichever end it happens to be, and then you can get a spanner on the other end. Now, if I could turn them round I suppose, but then the plate won't sit flat in the crank. And I've got a cheap 13mm spanner, this one, that is thin enough to go over those nuts when they run right down. I don't have a 12 that's thin enough to do that bit because they are 12mm, the heads on the bolts. So that I'd have to start messing about, yeah, sort of grinding the edges off the bolts as well. So we'll just try it sort of like that, maybe with some washers at the bottom, help locate everything, give it a bit more thread to go at if you like. But yeah, we'll try it. If it doesn't work, we'll have to find some better bolts and do like the book says. But anyway, I'll get 4 of these things fed into there and we'll see what happens. Right, onward. Okay, right, so it's 4 bolts cut down with nuts on and fed into the crank. They're not quite evenly spaced, but you know, big ends there. We've got 2 this side and 2 this side of it. Now the book does show they've got a little metal plate there that they've cut out, and they're using that to lock either the nuts or the bolts in place, whichever way around they're doing it, and then turn the other one with a spanner. I've not done that yet. If this works, it works. If not, we'll actually have to do it properly, like the book says. So, I have a cheap, nasty 13mm spanner. That is just, yeah, it is. It's just thin enough to get in there. It'd help if I had some nuts that didn't have giant flanges on them, but unfortunately I haven't, so it's restricting the space somewhat. So yes, just need to find a slim 13 now. No, that is 13, sorry. A slim 12mm now. That'll go in there and hold the heads of the bolts. Failing that, we will have to do like the book says, and I'll find a little bit of steel and cut a little bit out that sort of looks like that. Right, I shall go searching for a spanner. Wish me luck. Onward. Okay, well, I don't have a 12, but I've got a 1/2 inch. It's got a 1 and a 2 written on it. You know. So yeah, it'll be a little bit sloppy, but hopefully it'll be enough to hold it. So yeah, let's just pick one to start with. There we go, just a little bit on that one. Oh, that one's maybe a smidgen too loose. Now it's a smidgen too tight. There we go. And I'm just going to keep going around them evenly. I think something's starting to move there. Yeah, it has. Because that one that I've just dropped the washer on the floor for. This one, this was quite snug to push in, and it has just fallen out on its own. So yeah, it's obviously starting to part the crank or bend something. You don't know. Mind you, I doubt it'll be bending these things. Right. So that's all of them with a bit of tension on. Yeah, look at that, the first one's come loose again. Superb. Right, so I'll just wiggle that back in there. Come on, you bloody thing. There we go. You know, if you turn them the correct way, it helps. Is it pushing it out the bottom? I think it is, it's hard to tell. Yeah, I think that's moved at the bottom. It's moved a fraction at the top. I'm hoping at some point soon it goes with a clunk and just lets go. Let's try moving this further round so it's not just all pushing from the bottom. Tell you what, I'll give that one a tap to get it back in there. There we go. Oh, which bit let go there? Something definitely did, didn't it? I think it's pulling it out the bottom. So let's do the same with this one and just move it round a smidgen. Just try and even the pull up or the push. Might have just made that spanner a permanent feature. There we go. Oh yes, no. Flipping it. It'd help if I could stop dropping these washers on the floor. Oh, that's brought that one loose. shouldn't be far off now. I dare say if I was brave enough to give it a smack in the correct location, it would part company. But let's just keep going like this for a while. I'm intrigued as to whether the threads will be strong enough on these bolts or on the nuts. They say 8.8s on them, but they come from a land where sometimes numbers are fudged. Oh flipping heck, there we look at that. Are we seeing there? That's quite a big gap now, isn't it? That's definitely pulling the big end, that is. So presumably, since that's only dropped a tiny little bit, she's pulling out from the other side. Lovely. That's jolly good so far. Right, I'll keep going until it decides it's coming off. Might have to find some more bolts because these may end up being a little bit too short. Too short. So there you go, that's the word I was trying to say before my voice decided it wasn't working for a moment. And what we can do, if I can find any anyway, is increase the amount of washers underneath. Actually, yeah, let's try that. Got some slightly thicker ones. They are 10mm as opposed to 8, but I'm sure it won't mind. That has moved a long way. Superb. Do the same with this one. We'll give this one a slightly thicker washer as well. Well, didn't think I was getting that spanner back that time. Same again, this one can have a thicker washer. Really hoping I can do it with these bolts because I don't think I've got many more kicking about I can cut up. Although saying that, I might just be looking at some now. Look at that. Do we think that'll fit? Oh, they're not far off. So, when these ones run out, we might have a couple more we can jump to. All the way around. No. Yeah, that is moving nice and easily now. So presumably we're on the last little bit. Just a case of doing it in an order to try and keep it square-ish. Flipping out, that's going loads. Yeah, that wash is just more of a packing shim now. It's not actually got any thread going through it at all. That is opening that side of the crank up considerably, isn't it? Didn't mean to do that. We'll be back that one in a moment. Let's keep going on this side. Yeah, that one's gone loose as well. We might be just about there. Oh dear, I am being somewhat clumsy today. I think I was last week as well, wasn't I? Still quite happily holding. Let's pop this one, yeah, maybe close it up a bit with the other side. There we go. I think it's just a case of getting it square now and it should go. Oh yeah, that is moving ever so easily. Ta-da! There we go. And there go me rollers. Oh dear. I was hoping they'd hang on, but not to worry. Yeah, that's both rows completely gone. I'm not too worried though, because it's getting a new one. Flipping it. You'd have thought I'd have known better than that by now. Not to worry. So yeah. I'll have to go running around with a magnet now and find those lads. That was simple enough, wasn't it? Let's just give this end a tap and see if it wants to come out as well. go. Well, that's that one. Now that's not going back in again, so it sort of doesn't matter that I've just thrown everything all over the floor. Well, there we go. A rather old way of splitting a crankshaft. Right. Let's find a magnet and see if I can pick all these up. I'll bring you back in a minute. Right, yeah, so, found them. And you know, if I'd have done something simple like hold the conrod in place like I normally do, that wouldn't have happened. But we're not too worried about that, because like I said, it's going to get a new one anyway. I mean, that one does actually look pretty good for what it is. Yeah, I don't think that's actually done that much. But still, it's having a new one. Well, actually, this is... I might not even be using this crank, I'm not sure yet. I need to do some measuring up, because, like I said, that is undersized. And that's not that far off undersized. And a couple of these keyways are a little bit ropey. And I think the keyways are better on this crank. So, we'll have to see. We shall have to see. Okay, so, by this point in the video, my general show of incompetence should have got rid of most people. So hopefully it's just the valued and loyal core of viewers that are left. And I have a dilemma. Now, we know the old Norton is a bit of a mongrel. And it's quite clearly a twin frame, or it was originally, rather than a single frame. So the front engine mounts are wider than what they'd be on a single cylinder one, and it doesn't have the flat section of frame in there. Now, I've checked the prefix on the chassis number. Why I've waited this long to do it, I don't know. And it is for a 99 Dominator. So originally, it should have been a 600 twin. Now, since this lot's all a bit knackered-ish, before I start spending pennies and lots of time and machining, and because I think, which one is it? It's that one. It's sitting underneath the worn out tap and die set. I can do something with that side of the crankcase. I'm sure I can. If I've got to, I can do something with this crank. If not, I can, yeah, do something with that. I'll come up with something. So yeah, before I put lots of time, effort and pennies into the little Model 50 engine, do I see if I can find at least, well, the remnants of a 99 engine, and see about putting her back to original-ish. I don't know. Answers on a postcard, or in the comments, whichever's easiest. As I said, I've got, you know, quite an investment into the little 350 emotionally, if not anything else. And I do like my old singles. On the other hand, it would be nice to have a 99 Dominator. Which, you know, it'd explain why it's got a Dominator tank on it and all the rest of that jazz. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Anyway, for those that have made it this far, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Ta-da!